Here's a situation that plays out constantly, and it costs people real money every single time. Someone decides to sell their car, they want to get top dollar for it, so they spend the next few weeks fixing things, detailing things, replacing things, and then they list it and wonder why offers are coming in $3,000 below what they expected. They put money into that car. They can see the work that was done. But the buyer standing in the driveway does not care about the repair you just completed. The buyer cares about what the car looks like, how it feels, and whether they think it's going to cost them anything in the next 6 months. The painful truth is that some repairs genuinely add perceived value and help you close a deal faster and closer to your asking price. And some repairs, even legitimate, necessary repairs, will not return a single dollar when you go to sell. You spend $500 and the car sells for the same price it would have sold for without the repair. That's money you just handed to the next owner. Hit subscribe before we get into it. This channel is about practical car advice from someone who has seen both sides of this. Vehicles that sold quickly and at a fair price, and vehicles that sat on the market for weeks because the owner spent money in all the wrong places. No dealership sales pitch here, just real information. I'm Jerry Davis, and after years around used car transactions, inspections, and the repair decisions that either help or hurt an owner's position, I can tell you that most people who are preparing a car for sale are guessing. They're doing what feels right instead of what actually works. By the time we finish, you'll know exactly which repairs and improvements buyers actually respond to, which ones they don't, and how to put yourself in the best possible position to sell your vehicle without throwing money away first. Let's start with the repairs that actually move the needle. The first one is a fresh oil change with documentation. I know that sounds almost too simple. You're thinking, Jerry, how is an oil change going to help me sell a car? And the answer is not the oil change itself, it's what the oil change represents. When a buyer pops the hood and the oil on the dipstick is clean, when you can hand them a receipt dated 2 weeks ago showing the oil was just serviced, that communicates something. It says this person maintains their vehicle. It says the engine isn't sitting in sludge. A lot of buyers are not mechanics. They can't read cylinder compression numbers or interpret a scan tool, but they can look at an oil dipstick. They can read a receipt. Give them that. It costs you maybe $60 to $80 for a full synthetic service at an independent shop, and it removes a very common objection buyers use to talk down your price. Stack a few receipts together, if you have them, tires, filters, oil changes, and put them in a folder. Buyers love documentation. It gives them confidence, and confident buyers don't negotiate as hard. The second repair that genuinely helps your resale position is a matching set of tires with reasonable tread depth. Not brand new tires, necessarily, but tires that are not embarrassing. Here's what most sellers don't realize. Tires are one of the first things a knowledgeable buyer checks. They squat down, they look at the tread, they look for uneven wear, they check the sidewalls. If your tires are bald on the inside edge, that tells a buyer the alignment has been neglected, the suspension might have an issue, or the car has been pushed hard. If your tires are mismatched, 2 different brands, 2 different sizes, maybe a spare on one corner, that looks like deferred maintenance. It looks like a car that was driven until something failed and then patched with whatever was cheapest at the time. Tires in decent shape, all 4 matching, with 60 or 70% tread left. That tells a very different story. Now, if your tires are already fine, leave them alone. But if you're sitting on worn-out rubber, replacing all 4 with a mid-range set is one of the few repairs that buyers can actually see, feel, and mentally price. A buyer who knows they don't have to budget for tires immediately will pay more for your car. It's that simple. The third repair is addressing the most obvious cosmetic problems. And I want to be very specific here, because this one has a limit. I'm talking about cracked windshields, significant dashboard warning lights that are on, broken exterior trim pieces that are clearly visible, missing interior panels, and badly stained or torn seat fabric. These are the things that make a buyer walk away or immediately go low on their offer. A cracked windshield is actually one of the best investments you can make before a sale if your car is in the mid-range price bracket. On most vehicles, a windshield replacement with aftermarket glass runs between $200 and $400, but a cracked windshield will cause a buyer to knock $1,000 off their offer because they're pricing in the repair plus the hassle of dealing with it. Do the math, fix the windshield. Similarly, if you have a check engine light on, you need to understand why it's on before you list the car. I'm not saying spend $3,000 fixing whatever the scanner found, but a buyer who sees that light is either going to walk away or use it as a major negotiating point. If the code is something simple, a loose gas cap, an inexpensive sensor, a minor emission component, fix it. If it's something expensive, price the car accordingly and be upfront. Hiding it doesn't work. A pre-purchase inspection will find it anyway. The fourth repair is a brake job, but only if the brakes genuinely need it. Here's the thing. If your brakes are making noise, if there's a grinding or a squealing, if the pedal feels soft or the car pulls when you stop, fix it. This is safety related, and buyers will drive your car before they buy it. If they feel bad brakes on the test drive, the deal changes dramatically. They either walk away or the price drops significantly more than the repair would have cost. Brake jobs on most vehicles are completely DIY-able for someone who's comfortable with basic mechanical work. Pads and rotors on a typical sedan can run $150 to $250 in parts. Even if you pay a shop, you're often looking at $300 to $400 on a simple axle. That investment on a car you're actively trying to sell absolutely comes back to you, because a car that stops properly feels solid to a buyer. It builds confidence. And again, confident buyers pay closer to asking price. The fifth thing in the positive column is a thorough, detailed job with specific attention to odor elimination. This is not just about making the car look clean, though that matters. This is about the first 30 seconds. A buyer walks up to your car, opens the door, and either thinks this is nice, or they immediately start looking for reasons not to pay what you're asking. Cigarette smoke, pet odor, mildew from a wet floor mat. These smells cost you money, not because they indicate a mechanical problem, but because buyers make emotional decisions and then justify them with logic. If the car smells bad, they're already building a case for why the price should be lower. A professional detail that includes an ozone treatment for odors typically runs $150 to $250, worth every cent. Shampoo the carpets, clean the door jambs, make the engine bay presentable. Buyers look at everything, and a clean engine bay signals that the vehicle was taken care of. It's not always true. Some people just wash their engine bay, but it signals care, and signals are what sell used cars. Now let's talk about the 5 repairs that are going to drain your wallet without moving your sale price a single dollar. This is where people really get hurt. The first money waster is a major mechanical repair that you complete right before the sale. I'm talking about a timing belt replacement, a water pump, a head gasket repair, a transmission service, struts, or anything else that runs into the $500 to $2,000 range. Here's the brutal reality. Buyers don't pay for your maintenance. They pay for the condition of the car as it sits today. If you spend $1,200 replacing the timing belt and water pump, and then price the car $300 higher than the market rate, buyers won't care. They will not pay extra because you just did preventive work. In their mind, they're buying a car that has a timing belt that's working, which is the basic expectation. Now, here's the flip side, and I want to be fair about this. If the timing belt is known to be overdue and you don't replace it, a knowledgeable buyer will dock the cost of the repair from their offer, and they'll usually dock more than the actual cost because they're adding in risk and inconvenience. So the real answer is Price the car to account for needed major work without doing the work yourself. Let the buyer choose their own shop, their own parts, and handle it on their terms. You'll come out ahead more often than not. The second waste of money is a fresh paint job. I don't mean a spot repair for a cracked bumper or a touch-up for a small chip. I already mentioned that basic cosmetic stuff has value. I mean a full respray, a color change, custom bodywork, or any attempt to make an aging vehicle look brand new through major paintwork. A quality respray on a full vehicle runs between $2,000 and $5,000 at a reputable shop. A cheap respray is often worse than what you had because it fades quickly, peels at the edges, and sophisticated buyers can spot it immediately. Even a good paint job, unless you're selling a collectible or a classic, will not add its cost back to the sale price. Buyers understand that a 2014 sedan with 110,000 miles should look like a 2014 sedan with 110,000 miles. You're not fooling anyone into thinking it's worth more because you painted it. Spend that money on something else, or keep it in your pocket. The third repair that wastes your money is a new audio system, new wheels, or any kind of aftermarket modification. This one drives me nuts because I completely understand why people do it. You put a nice stereo in the car 3 years ago. You bought a set of alloy wheels that look great. You added a cold air intake. To you, those things add value because you paid for them and you enjoy them. But here's the problem. The buyer who wants your specific vehicle may not want those modifications. Factory-looking buyers will pass. The person who does want a custom setup often already has opinions about what they want and doesn't want to pay for someone else's choices. Modifications almost always return less than 50 cents on the dollar in a private sale, and at a dealership on a trade-in, they return nothing. Zero. The dealer is going to value your car against the closest stock equivalent, and that's it. If you put aftermarket wheels on the car and you have the factory wheels sitting in your garage, put the factory wheels back on before you sell it. Sell the aftermarket wheels separately. You'll make more money. The fourth waste is any repair to a vehicle you're planning to trade in at a dealership. I cannot stress this enough. Dealerships do not pay retail prices for trade-ins. They pay wholesale prices, or close to it, and then they mark the car up for their own lot. If you spend $500 fixing your car before trading it in, you are spending $500 that the dealer is never going to acknowledge in their offer. They're going to make you an offer based on their internal valuation process, your car's condition category, and what they think they can sell it for. That fresh brake job you just paid for, invisible in their eyes. Save the money, trade the car as is. Use the money you saved to negotiate on the new vehicle instead. The fifth and final money waster is over-repairing a cheap car. This is where I see people really hurt themselves. The car is worth $4,000 on a good day, and they put $1,500 into it trying to get $6,000. It doesn't work that way. The market decides what a 2009 compact with 140,000 miles is worth, and no amount of repairs pushes it past that ceiling. Buyers for that price range are already expecting some wear. They're not expecting a perfect car. They're expecting a car that starts, drives, stops, and doesn't have any obvious red flags. If you're selling a lower value vehicle, focus only on the items that make buyers walk away. Odor, warning lights, major visible damage. Everything else, price it honestly and let it sell. Here's how to approach this the right way. Before you spend $1 on your car with the intention of selling it, ask yourself 2 questions. First, will a buyer be able to see, smell, feel, or test this repair during a normal 15-minute look and test drive? If the answer is no, skip it. Second, will this repair eliminate a reason for a buyer to walk away or go significantly low on their offer? If the answer is yes, it might be worth it. If the answer is no, keep your wallet in your pocket. Clean it up. Fix the obvious stuff. Document what you've maintained. Price it realistically for your market, and stop spending money trying to turn a used car into something it was never going to be in a buyer's eyes. That's the game. And now you know how to play it smarter than most sellers do. If this helped you think through your situation differently, hit the like button. It genuinely helps the channel reach more people who are making these same decisions right now. Subscribe if you want to keep getting practical advice on buying, selling, maintaining, and not getting taken by the automotive world. Drop a comment below if you've got a question about your specific situation or if there's a topic you want me to cover next. I read them. I'll see you in the next one.